Good afternoon, everyone. Now we will have a same learning competency which is all about observing correct grammar in making definitions. But it will be our module number 5 for quarter number 4. So we will start in page number 2 to know the objectives of this module. First, identify the parts of definition, define terms using patterns of definition, and observe correct grammar in making definition. So in what I know part, you will identify the error. So for example, we have underlined words in each sentence. Then you will identify, for example, the first underline is letter A, the second will be letter B, then letter C will be the third underlined word. Then, no, if there is no error, if you think the sentence is correct, then you will answer letter D. So, A, B, C, D. If you think that the underlined word is incorrect, then you will write the corresponding letter below that word. For example, if you think is incorrect, then you will answer letter A. So you will do that until number 5. However, you will draw a thumbs up. If the underlined part is correct, then thumbs down if it is not. Here, it's like in 1 to 5, but in 1 to 5, you will identify what is wrong. However, in 1 to 10, this part B, you will simply identify if it's correct or not. For what's in, you will read the article below and answer the questions that follow. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. So it's all about, or the title is, What is Emotional Resilience? A Definition. So it's all about defining emotional resilience. So it's only this one. It is quite short. So what part of the definition is underlined group of words below? Is it the term, verb, class, or distinguishing characteristic? How about this one? And for number 4, you will identify if this to power through the storm and still keeps the sail steady. Is it dependent clause? Meaning of dependent clause, it can stand alone and it's usually started by conjunction, but, and like that. Participial phrase, if it started with, for example, gerund, infinitive, or using the word to, like that. Then prepositional phrase, if it's used or it starts with preposition like in, at, on. Then relative pronoun, if for example, who, what, like that. And for question 5 to 9, study the following sentences, D1 to D5. Then you will identify which uses relative pronoun, which uses past participle, full definition, and what is being described in each number. In what's new, have you experienced defining a specific word? How do you come up with your own definition? Read the conversation of the 3 learners below on making the research paper. Observe how each one gives his or her definition. Good afternoon, groupmates. Let's now start working on our definition of terms for our research. First, let us define the word technology. Do you have suggestions? Good afternoon. Technology is a manner of accomplishing a task that are using technical processes, methods, or knowledge. Any other suggestion? Technology is a tool that is utilized to help the students on their learning process, specifically in language. Thank you, Sian and Christelle, for your suggestions. And we have questions here. How did Sian define the word technology? How about Christelle? So you will identify the way how Sian and Christelle define technology. Whose definition of technology do you think is grammatically correct? So based on your understanding, which among the 2 definitions, is it from Sian or Christelle, the more grammatically correct? Whose definition is incorrect? So it's the opposite of number 2. In this module, You will observe and use grammar correctly in writing definition, and you need to learn about this topic in order to help you on your academic journey. So the beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms. So we should always know how to define words properly, especially in research. We have a part definitions of term, and we should apply the structure and the correct grammar that you will learn here. So we have different guidelines. The first one is to, in writing the term, observe capitalization rules, because in capital letters, it has two main rules: to show proper noun, or meaning the places, name of people, like that, and even the acronym. So each word, for example, the NASA, what NASA means, National Aeronautics Space Administration. So each of the initial letter or the first letter will be capitalized. For example, or even the term itself that you want to define, you will capitalize it also, as you observe here. Also, for example, name of president, those will be proper now. To show the beginning of a sentence, so each paragraph will start with uppercase letter or capital letters. Also, a sentence like this one. So in making definition sentence, we are always using simple present tense of verb. Why? Because it is universal truth, meaning it is not changing. Therefore, no matter where you go, no matter what the year is, it is a truth. It will never change. Therefore, you will use present. And there should be subject-verb agreement. So if your subject is singular, therefore, you will also use a singular verb. Affidavit is a singular, therefore you will use the word is, or it can be has, if what is more appropriate to the sentence. However, if it is plural like binoculars, then you will use are or have, which is more appropriate to the sentence. But it should always be in present because it's a universal fact. Then the class or category and the term being defined must agree in number. For example, if narcolepsy is singular, then you will state the class in singular form, disorder. If the term you want to describe or define is plural, then the class will be in plural form also. So it should be also connected and same structure. So singular term, singular category or class, plural category or plural class will be plural term. For be specific about the class, courage is a thing that it's vague or not clear because there are many things on earth. Quality is specific, so we should always be specific or direct. Use the same part of speech for the class as the word was being defined. For example, microphone is used when it is not. For example, microphone is an instrument used when, meaning microphone, we have the word instrument here because passive verb meaning is used, or it is not done by the microphone, and the doer is not really stated here. So that is a passive verb. So microphone is an instrument used when. So it is incorrect because microphone is used when, for example, when will you use it? Are you telling to occasion or how to use it? Here, it is clearly stated that it's an instrument to use. That you are referring to an instrument that you will use in a particular situation, in a particular occasion, like that. Then whenever possible, don't repeat the term in the class or distinguishing characteristic sections. For example, online education is a form of education. Online schooling is a form of education. Meaning, there is redundancy. You have here education, then you will have again education. Then you can use other terms which is very related to avoid redundancy. Number 7, make sure there is sufficient information in the adjective clause to distinguish the term from other members of the class. For example, a modem is a device that is used with a computer and a telephone. So it is insufficient. A modem is a device that makes possible the transmission of data to or from a computer via telephone. So here it explains how modem is used in computer and telephone. Here in the sufficient. Here it is just described that it is used, but how is not complete. However, here it is really complete because the clause that makes possible the transmission of data from a computer, meaning it is used for transmission of data in transmitting the data. Here, it is not explained that it is really used in transmission. So it should be specific for them to really identify what is the use of that word. Then, the distinguishing characteristic may be introduced in several ways. It can be in using relative pronoun like that, who, were, and these words. For example, characterization is a literary device that, meaning this explanation is really defining what characterization is, what psychology is, a courier is. So, we are using those. So, there should be connection, relative, the relation. It clearly links the relation of the term to the characteristics. Then, the present participial phrase. So, it can begin with ing or like this one. Speech is a public address expressing a thought and emotions. So, your characteristic is beginning with ing. It can be in gerund form. So, in using past participial phrase, it ends with ed, t, en. For example, concerned with nature and properties of matters and energy. So, if there is ed, den, meaning past participle, it is not the past tense but past participle, it will fall under the past participial phrase. Here, present participial phrase if it begins with or with the words ending with ing. Participial phrase, ing, then ed, den, it is participial phrase, past participial phrase. In prepositional phrase, you are using prepositions with for, to, of, by, in, on, and etc. or other preposition. For example, sense of humor is the ability to laugh and to make others laugh. Because of the word to, we can identify that it's prepositional phrase. So those are only giving specific and more information about, more characteristics about the term. So technical writers should avoid wordiness. One way to eliminate unnecessary words is to reduce adjective clause. There are several rules when doing this. Rules for reducing adjective clause. So guidelines. Drop the relative pronoun and the verb be if the adjective clause contains a prepositional phrase, an adjective, or a passive verb. For example, here, an electronic book is a document that is lengthy enough to be considered a book. An electronic book is a document lengthy enough to be considered a book. So, you will just remove this. if you think that if it's still understandable without those words, you can omit that. An electronic book is a document that is on diskette or hard drive. So you can simply say an electronic book is a document on diskette or hard drive. A campus-wide information system is an online service that is used as a central source of information at a college or university. So you can simply remove your that is used, that is, so you can remove that. You can also reduce the adjective clause by changing the word or word form in these two situations. The adjective clause contains the verb have, drop the relative pronoun, and change have to having. Drop, for example, PPP is a method of connecting a personal computer that has a modem to the internet. So you can have it like this. PPP is a method for connecting a personal computer having a modem to the internet. So instead of that has a modem, you will just having or ing. Then you can also have drop the relative pronoun and have, replacing using with. So instead of having that has, you can simply write with a modem to the internet. The verb is in an active state and the relative pronoun is the subject. Drop the relative pronoun and change the verb to the ing. For example, that point. So instead of having the word that, you just simply omit the word that and add ing to make it one word only instead of having two words. Because we are avoiding lengthy of words. None of these rules apply to the modal auxiliary verbs, example given, should, may, can, or the special verbs, since the meaning of the modal is lost in the reduction. So the information which must be accessed via the internet is useful. Reduced with different meaning. The information accessed via the internet is useful. So we can remove those modal auxiliary verbs, but the meaning will be different also. So we should sometimes we should remain the modals for us not to change the meaning, because each modal, should, may, can, must, they have different and distinct use according to the situation. For what's more, this time you can further test your skill to define terms using correct grammar. Make sure to follow the parts in defining terms. So you will, using the key terms in each illustration, write a sentence with the full definition observing correct grammar. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. So based from the information here, you will make your own definition. Like this one, a cloud with big letter here, capital letter, because it started with capital letter and end with period. It's a technology that allows us to access our files and our services through the internet from anywhere in the world. So you will use also the connectors or by adjectival clause, participial clause, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you will make a single definition using the rules that we have discussed a while ago. Then correct me if I'm wrong. So base here, you will change, write the word correct if it's correct already. But if it's wrong, give the correct form. For example, Parkinson disease is only singular, but here we have plural verb. So your answer will be is. You will change the underlined words if it is incorrect. But if it is correct, just simply write correct. Independent Assessment 1, combine and define. Example, linguistics is a science. Linguistics deals with the study of human language. So, in combined sentence, linguistics is a science that deals with the study of human language. So, you will just combine it in one sentence using and applying what you have learned a while ago. Simple free. Read these definitions of freedom and fill out the table with the condensed form of the various definitions of freedom. Note the structure of defining the term. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper, like this one. So you will read that. Then what is freedom? Freedom is a universal license to be good. So you can correct this one. So license, it should be S at the end. So John F. Kennedy, you will make your own definition. Kennedy or John F. Kennedy. So you will make your definition here based on the information here and to the rules that we have discussed a while ago. Redefine to make it fine. So you will remove the word that, based on the last part that we have discussed. You can add the ing, and what else? You can also have the just remove by have or with, having, like that. And for example, syntax is the branch of linguistics that deals with the study of how words and small phrases are combined to make larger phrases and sentences. You can simply remove that, then dealing with. So you will have, instead of having two words, you will have a single word only. So you will apply that in 1 to 5. Then write the class and the distinguishing characteristic of the word list below to complete the definition. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. An educated man is, astrology is, so you will include the class and distinguishing characteristic. You can also use dictionary or research using your internet. Then, independent assessment 3, patch up. The parts of each definitions are mixed up. Arrange them to make a correct and meaningful sentence. So you will rearrange this one. And first you have to identify the main term, the class, and the characteristic. And then arrange it using the rules that we have discussed a while ago. So what I have learned, you will just complete this. What you have learned about the guidelines and how important or significant to apply that. What I can do, for example, I install and repair electrical power. I am blank. I am an electrician. So you will identify what is being described, then that will be the term. Then identify the class, identify the characteristic, like that. I go to court and defend people's right. So what is the profession? Then I am or an blank or a and blank, depending. And we will use an if it will be followed by vowel sound, not vowel letter, only vowel sound. Then a if it will followed by consonant. For example, a teacher, a doctor. But if we will use an engineer, an electrician, like that. So you will identify first what is being described here. I wear uniform, articles, you read in newspaper. Then, based from those information, you will define that. So for assessment, you will simply identify which is more suited to fill the blank based on the choices that we have. But which is more suited? Is it between, besides, beside, intervening, like that? 1 to 15 for additional activity. Choose a topic below and write a short definition essay. The meaning of life, chemistry of love, natural beauty, the importance of empathy. But make sure that you will apply all that you have learned from making a definition. So content, if you really defined and clearly give explanation, then you will get 5 points. Then organization, there is a smooth and unified definition, then you will get 5 points. Organization, 5 points. Then lastly, we have mechanics, correct grammar. Also the rules, punctuation that we have discussed a while ago will get 5 points. And I hope you learned in giving and observing correct grammar in making definition. Because if you still have questions, you are free to message your teacher, your English teacher, and make sure to remember all those rules, because in making definitions, you're helping one or other students, and by helping them, we should make ourselves correct and effective for us to really help other people. Because if we are not using the correct grammar, we might confuse, not help them. Goodbye.